This broadcast is presented by the authority of the Pacific Coast Sports Racing Association and the National Association of Professional Racing Leagues Incorporated for the private use of our audience. Any reproduction, rebroadcast, retransmission, or any other dissemination use of this broadcast without the express written consent of the Pacific Coast Sports Racing Association and the National Association of Racing Leagues Incorporated is prohibited. On the PCSRA Sportsing channel from Learfield IMG College. Welcome to Triple P on the Blog TV. Now here's the voice of the PCSRA, Mr. Daniel Voiles.
Welcome to the last great Coliseum of Sweeping Down the Plains edition of Triple P. I apologize about last week for not having an episode because I had a Karen house manager who, let's be honest, does videos at like 1 in the morning and she can bleep off for all I care. So that was the delay. Anyway, I'm Daniel Voiles here in our PCSRA studios, which I'm happy to say we have a very nice house manager who loves my awesome content. And if you guys are excited about a very long episode, you've come to the right place here on this Wednesday, first October episode of Triple P. Looking forward to that. Going to recap first off the races from Bristol, F1's race at Singapore, and then we'll talk about the Kansas weekend and all that, yada, yada, yada. And then get you caught up on all of the news that has happened. We had a couple of news items that happened yesterday, or by the time you're watching this today, or yesterday if you're watching this here on YouTube. And then we'll talk about Talladega this coming weekend and discuss about other stuff here in our PCSRA studios. As I'm recording this episode, my kids are home from school, which I'm happy to say hi to them. And all that yada yada yada. Now I'm getting a knock on the door for whatever reason. So yeah. So let's go ahead and start Triple P. First, let's start with the truck race from Bristol, the University of Northwestern Ohio 200. I did watch the race, and it was okay. I wouldn't say it was the best race, to say the least. And I don't know, as I'm getting my food out of the sack, I'm having Subway as I'm recording this episode of Triple P, and I already know Sean's already got an Italian on me because why not? So yes. Anyway, nothing happened in stage one. That was won by Roger Caruth. Second went to Corey Heim. Third went to Christian Eckes. Fourth was Connor Zilisch. By the way, in the seven this at Bristol. Nick Sanchez was fifth. Sixth was Stuart Friesen. Seventh, Phil Wallich, who won the ARCA East title, also at Bristol. Congratulations to him on that. Lane Riggs got eighth, ninth to Chase Purdy, and 10th went to Daniel Dye. As we got to the end of the stage, the 7 of Connor Zilisch spun off of turn number 4, which ended stage number dos. That went to Corey Heim. Second went to Christian Eckes. Third, Roger Caruth. Fourth, Lane Riggs. Fifth, Nick Saulett. Seventh, eighth, Matt Crafton. Ninth went to Dean Thompson. And 10th to Chase Purdy. Caden Honeycutt was involved in the next caution with Daniel Dye. A lot of damage to Caden Honeycutt's truck, who was done today. Prior to that, Connor Jones had an overheating issue. He was done for the night. And then the final caution, Ben Rhodes got into my friend Jack Wood. He said Wood and spun the 91 around. That was the last caution. Nothing happened after that. And Lane Riggs ended up making the University of Northern Ohio 200 presented by Ohio Logistics. Only 2 of the 36 starters in the truck race at Bristol failed to finish. So let's go over your top 10 and a couple of shout-outs on top of that. Lane Riggs was your winner. Corey Heim, playoff contender in second. Roger Caruth, third. Christian Eckes, fourth. Nick Sanchez, fifth. Matt Crafton, sixth. Chase Purdy, seventh. Ty Majeski, eighth. Stuart Friesen, ninth. And Tyler Ankrum completed the top 10. We had a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 playoff drivers inside the top 10. Where were your remaining 4? Taylor Gray ended up 12. Grant Inver 7. Corey Day, who made his ARCA debut and Truck Series debut, came home 18th. Want to give him a shout. Daniel Dye 32nd. Ben Rhodes 27th. And then the owners playoff drivers, Connor Zillage 19th. Caden Honeycutt 35th. Then we go to the Xfinity Series race for the Food City 300 on the CW's debut, which I thought it was an okay broadcast to say the least. Had debris caution on lap number 4. The first actual incident was Justin Allgaier got into Parker Retzlaff. That clip was secret in 32. Both had damage. They were done for the night. Rest of stage 1 was clean, was won by Chandler Smith. Jesse Love got second. Third went to Sheldon Creed. Fourth went to AJ Allmendinger with Anthony Alfredo in fifth. By the way, this was the regular season finale for anyone asking. Jeremy Clements got sixth. Seventh went to Cole Custer. Eighth went to Matt DiBenedetto. Ninth went to Ryan Truex. And 10th, Joe Graf Jr. After the restart, we get to lap 121. Parker Kligerman spun in turn number 2, but continued on his merry little way. Sheldon Creed got into Justin Allgaier, where Allgaier nosed in the inside wall. Of course, that was big because Allgaier was the regular season champ, and of course, he spun to bring up the last caution. In between that, stage 2 was completed, was Jeremy Clements, which was a bruh. Cole Custer second, Ryan third, Sheldon Creed fourth, fifth, Chandler Smith, Jesse Love sixth, seventh went to Riley Herbst. Sam Mayer 8th, 9th, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and 10th went to Parker Kligerman. And as I already mentioned, Justin Allgaier spun off of turn 2. The rest of the race went calm and clean. And at the end of the day, Cole Custer picked up the victory and unexpectedly won the race and the regular season title. I should mention the Truck Series race only took an hour and 20 minutes to run 200 laps. The Xfinity race was completed 2 hours even for their race at Bristol, which means the 12 drivers that are battling for the championship in the Xfinity series, which I'm going to go ahead and get over to the Xfinity series. There we go. The 12 drivers, if my phone would like, there we go, are in the playoffs are Cole Custer, Chandler Smith, Austin Hill, Sam Mayer, Sheldon Creed, SVG, Jesse Love, Riley Herbst, Justin, AJ Allmendinger, Parker Kligerman, and Sammy Smith. So those would be your driver in the playoffs for the Xfinity Series after the race at Bristol. So yeah, don't worry, we'll get the other global stuff and all that taken care of. So yeah. So the top 10 results for Xfinity Series regular season finale: Cole Custer winner, Sheldon Creed second, Chandler Smith third, Jesse Love fourth, Ryan Truex fifth, Brandon Jones sixth, Dale Jr. seventh, Ryan Seagate, Sam Mayer ninth, and AJ Allmendinger completed the top 10. Only 4 of the 38 starters in the Xfinity Series at Bristol failed to finish. Then we go to the Cup Series race, the elimination race for the Bass Pro Shops night race, where only 2 of the 37 starters failed to finish. John Hunter Nemechek got spun on the first incident of the night as he spun that, which he had a tire going down. The rest of stage 1 was won by Kyle Larson. Second went to Alex Bowman. Third went to Christopher Bell. Fourth went to Martin Truex Jr. Running out your top 5 was William Byron. 6th, Denny Hamlin. 7th went to Chase Briscoe. 8th was Ty Gibbs. 9th, Chase Elliott, and Bubba Wallace completed the top 10. Then Joey Logano got spun into the inside wall in the front straightaway. Thankfully, he was locked in the next round with his win at Atlanta. Otherwise, he would have been in a not-so-good position. Thankfully, he can ill afford a bad day. Rest of stage 2, Kyle Larson won stage 2. Second went to MTJ. Third, Denny Hamlin. Fourth went to Tyler Reddick with Christopher Bell running out your top 5. Then it was Bubba Wallace, Alex Bowman, Chase Briscoe, Ryan Blaney, and Chase Elliott that complete your top 10 in stage number 2. Then the final caution of the race was Josh Berry and Corey LaJoie, who made his final start with Spire, because we'll tell you why in a minute on the headlines coming up. Nothing else happened after that. Kyle Larson, no doubt, dominated the Bristol night race and ended up winning the race. So your top 10 results was Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Bubba Wallace, Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, your top 5, Ryan Blaney, Ryan Preece, Chase Briscoe, Alex Bowman, and Ross Chastain. They were top 10. 10 drivers finished on the lead lap, and Harrison Burton was the last driver to finish the race. Tell you where the rest of your 16 playoff drivers, and then I will tell you who got eliminated. Austin Cindric 13th, Ty Gibbs 15th, William Byron 17th, Tyler 20th, MTJ 24th, easy for me to say, Brad Keselowski 26th, Joey Logano 28th, Dino Suarez 31st, and then Harrison Burton was 35th. And officially, the 4 drivers who got eliminated from the playoffs were Harrison Burton, former champion Brad Keselowski, MTJ, and Ty Gibbs also made an early. So they were the 4 drivers who got eliminated from the race at Bristol and went into Kansas, no longer had their yellow banner and spoiler and all that. Real quickly, let me go over the top 10 results for the F1 race from Singapore. Lando Norris, no surprise, won again. Max Verstappen 2nd, Oscar Piastri 3rd, George Russell 4th, Charles Leclerc 5th, Lewis Hamilton 6th, Carlos Sainz 7th, Fernando Alonso 8th, Nico Hulkenberg 9th, and Sergio Perez completed the top 10. Only 2 of the 20 starters in the F1 race at Singapore failed to finish. F1's next race is not until they go to COTA, which is a while from now. So what did I think, first of all, of the race weekend we had at Bristol? Singapore was mid. That's basically how I'm going to say that for you all. Singapore wasn't that entertaining, but, good job to Lando either way. Bristol was kind of a letdown. I thought the spring race was a little bit better than the fall race because we had a lot of tire fall off in the spring race. I don't know if having the ARCA truck doubleheader Thursday and the Xfinity race Friday night had something to do with it, or if it was the weather. I don't know. Something is going to have to be looked at regardless, if you ask me, as my mouth is salivating for some reason, as I'm going to go ahead and take a bite of my sandwich. Well needed, if you ask me, because, like I said, as I'm recording this, I have not had anything to eat all day. I'll get some ice and water, refill up my water in a little bit. So yes. So the headlines going into Kansas before we recap Kansas, excuse me. Daniel Ricciardo no longer going to be an F1, as that was his final race of the year. Liam Lawson, who replaced Daniel Ricciardo when Ricciardo got hurt last year, he will be running the final 6 races starting at COTA, which he will have a 10-place grid penalty for exceeding a new engine, the ICE limit, as far as that is concerned. Justin Haley, Corey LaJoie swap rides. Corey LaJoie driving for Rick Ware Racing for the remainder of the season. Justin Haley driving for Spire, which he will with that team next season. So there you go. Now, let's go to Kansas. While I do some cleaning up on some space on my phone. So let's start with the Truck Series race, the Kubota Tractor 200. I ended up watching that race yesterday. The reason I didn't watch that race Friday night was because I was taking part in SmackDown, which I had a great time. Definitely worth 3 hours of my time, which I went after I got off work. So I didn't even watch the truck race until yesterday. Let's say the race wasn't that good. I made the right call to go watch the Friday Night SmackDown. So yeah. The first two stages went calm and clean. Ty Majeski ended up winning stage one. Corey Heim won stage two. Here's the top 10 for stage one. I mentioned Majeski won. Christian Eckes, finished second. Third, Corey Heim. Fourth went to Caden Honeycutt. Fifth went to Riggs. Sixth went to Nick Sanchez. Seventh, Taylor Gray. Eighth went to Tanner Gray, his brother. Ninth went to Stuart Friesen, and completing the top 10 was Connor Bozak, who was driver of the 7 at Kansas this week. I mentioned one, Lane Riggs second, Christian Eckes third. How ironic they finished 1, 2, 3 in the final stage. Ty Majeski fourth, Taylor Gray fifth, sixth, Nick Sanchez, seventh went to Caruth, eighth went to Caden Honeycutt, ninth went to Bailey Curry, and 10th went to Raja Caruth. The only incident worthy of that race, however, was Matt Mills lost control, got into Corey Day, took both drivers into the wall. Hate that for both drivers, especially Corey Day. He came off a great result at Bristol the week before Kansas. So unfortunately, both of their days were done, and that was the only incident of the race that excluded stages. And of course, they were two of the four drivers that failed to finish. For Joe Cobb, did not finish the race with an electrical issue, brake issues for Marco Andretti, which he also failed to qualify for the truck race at Bristol, by the way, and had a dismal ARCA race. So it went from bad to worse for Marco Andretti and all that. So, yeah. So Corey Heim ended up winning the race, which I'm glad I made the right call watching SmackDown over a boring truck race. So, yeah. So the top 10 results for the truck series. Corey Heim, the winner. Lane Riggs second, Christian Eckes third, Caden Honey fourth, fifth was Dawson Sutton, Tanner Gray sixth, Roger Caruth seventh, Bailey Curry eighth, Grant Enfinger ninth, Connor Mozak 10th. Sanchez ended up 12th. This is where the rest of your playoff drivers finish. Tyler Ingram 14th, Ty Majeski 15th, Taylor Gray 18th, Ben Rhodes 22nd. He and Daniel Dye, who finished 27th, were the two drivers eliminated from the playoffs. And as for the owners, as I'm going to look on here, I need to look and find out on the owner standings who also was eliminated as far as that's concerned. Because some people don't know that owner standings means a lot. If you are hearing my roommate in the background, I apologize for having him interrupt me, but thankfully I have the door shut so you don't have to hear him. Back to let me actually look here. All right, I just want the truck series, please, and you. That's all I asked. There we go. For the owners playoffs, the two teams that were eliminated from the owners standings, if my stupid phone would like to please cooperate. No, I said owners. Thank you. That's the one I was looking for. The 7 Spire and the 45 Neater Sports were the two owners that got eliminated from the playoffs, which was a tough break for them. Next, we move to the Xfinity Series race, which they began the playoffs, and it was a very interesting race. First incident, Sammy Smith spun down the back straightaway, didn't hit anything. Just as stage one ended, there was fluid on track from Taylor Gray's machine, which his day was done, which ended stage number one. Eric Almirola won stage one. Chandler Smith second. Third went to Cole Custer. Fourth went to Brandon Jones. Fifth is Sam Mayer. Sixth went to Sheldon Creed. Seventh, Austin Hill. Eighth went to Justin Allgaier. Ninth, Riley Herbst. And 10th, Parker Kligerman. Brad Perez stopped on track, which was soon discovered an oil pump was the reason for him stopping on track. That brought out the caution. Then Justin Allgaier bounced off Sheldon Creed, spun down the back straightaway. His day was done. Then Austin Hill got into Riley Herbst, spun on the off a turn 4 down the front straightaway grass. Riley Herbst did not hit anything. He continued on, which ended stage 2. That was won by Sam Mayer. Eric Almirola second, Cole Custer third, Chandler Smith fourth, Connor Zilic fifth. Sixth went to Austin Hill, seventh Sheldon Creed, Brandon Jones eighth, ninth Matt Benedetto, and AJ Allmendinger 10th. And then we had a debris caution with about 53 laps to go, the 200 laps of the Kansas Lottery 300. Eric Almirola wins the race, even though he's not going for the Owners' Championship, he's not going for the Drivers' Championship. The 20 is in the Owners' Championship, and they punched their ticket into the Elite 8. So the top 10 results for the Xfinity Series race: Eric Almirola, the winner; Cole Custer, second; Chandler Smith, third; Connor Zilic, fourth; Sheldon Creed, fifth; Brandon Jones, sixth; Austin Hill, seventh; SVJ, Jesse Love, ninth; and Riley Herbst completed the top 10. So we had, let's see, if you exclude the 20 and the 19, I don't think the 19 made the Owners' playoffs. I could be wrong. So if you exclude the 20, we had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 playoff drivers. What were the other 6? Parker Kligerman, 12th, Sam Mayer, 13th, AJ Allmendinger, 17th, Sam Smith, 22nd, and then Justin Allgaier, 36th, which means the 4 drivers in the danger zone: Justin Allgaier, AJ Allmendinger, Parker Kligerman, and Sammy Smith for the drivers. As far as the owners is concerned, oh yeah, I forgot the 19 did not make the playoffs. Okay. The 8, even though it's in the playoffs for the drivers, they're not in the playoffs for the owners. The 98, 7, 16, 48 are now in the danger zone for the owners playoffs. So those teams, as well as Allgaier, Allmendinger, Kligerman, and Sammy Smith, all of those teams need a good run this weekend, or they could find themselves heading into next week's race at Charlotte Roval in a must-win situation. Speaking of a must-win situation that need good runs, let's get to the Cup Series race for the Hollywood 400 presented by ESPN Bet. I find it weird to have a association with ESPN, but there you go. Didn't get too far into the race. Lap 1. First yellow of the race, lap 1, which we didn't even complete a green flag lap. Harrison Burton, of course, J.Ski Derby and Chase Elliott was involved when clearly he wasn't. It was Harrison Burton got involved, turn the 4 of Josh Berry, collected the 16 of Ty Dillon and Jimmy Johnson. Chase Elliott was not involved, even though they listed him involved. But Elliott got through without any damage, as I'm going to take another bite of my sandwich. There we go. So, Josh Berry's day was done. There was some questions why NASCAR did not tow his car back to pit road to let him change 4 tires, but he was done nevertheless. Everybody else continued on. Just after the restart, lap 20, Kyle Larson, running what we like to call the Dale Jr. line, got up into the wall, brought up the second caution of the race. Stage 1 went to William Byron. Second went to Joey Logano. Third, Ryan Blaney. Fourth went to Denny Hamlin. Fifth went to Christopher Bell. Sixth went to Ty Gibbs, who was eliminated from the playoffs. Austin Cindric, 7th. Martin Truex Jr., who was also recently eliminated from the playoffs, in 8th. 9th went to Alex Bowman, and 10th went to Carson Hocevar. So, yeah. Just after the restart, Eric Jones spun in the grass coming off of turn number 4. Then Daniel Hemrick, who has announced he will not be returning to Kaulig racing after this season, spun in turn 2 after he made contact with the wall, which cut a tire down. Some people said he spun intentionally. To be fair, he actually had a tire going down because he made contact with the turn 4 wall before it happened. Then John Hunter Nemechek got together with Justin Haley, who's driving the 7 for the remainder of the season. Down the back straightaway, they continued on. Kyle Busch got into Austin Cindric down the back straightaway. The rest of stage 2 went calm and clean. That was won by Alex Bowman. Ty Gibbs second. Third went to Ryan Blaney. Fourth, William Byron. Fifth went to Brad Keselowski. Sixth, Carson Hocevar. Seventh, Kyle Busch. Eighth went to Martin Truex Jr. Ninth, Chase Elliott. And 10th, Harrison Burt. Or no, I'm sorry, Chase Briscoe completed the top 10. So, yes. And there was some beef between Briscoe and Kyle Busch. And I'll tell you why I say that. Because just after the restart, just as Kyle Busch was getting ready to lap Chase Briscoe, gets in the wall, spins on the back straightaway. And Kyle Busch went from winning to finishing 19th, which is too bad for him. Just after the restart of that incident, more trouble on the back straightaway. Chase Briscoe gets together with Todd Gilliland and Carson Hocevar, the 77, as all three spun. They continued on their merry little way. Nothing else happened. And at the end of the day, the driver who could have made the playoffs, Ross Chastain, got his first win on the season at the Kansas Speedway. He was led home by William Byron second, Martin Truex Jr. Great run for a driver who got eliminated from the playoffs after Bristol last week. Fourth went to Ryan Blaney. Ty Gibbs fifth. He was another driver who was recently eliminated. Then the rest of your top 10 was Alex Bowman, Christopher Bell, Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, and Zane Smith. Good run for Zane Smith in the 10. So we had 6 of our playoff drivers inside the top 10. Where did the other 6 finish? Daniel Suarez 13th, Joey Logano 14th, 24th for Chase Reddick 25th, Kyle Larson 26th, and then Austin Cindric finished in 34th in that race. JJ Yeley and Josh Berry were 2 of the 38 starters in the Cup Series that failed to finish the race. And that was the only thing that happened because nothing else happened after that in that regard. So going into Talladega for the Cup Series, since I'm going to do this right here, right now. The 4 that find themselves in the danger zone, Tyler Reddick, Daniel Suarez, Chase Briscoe, Austin Cindric. So Kansas went okay, wasn't too interesting. It was one of those interesting days, and, it was very interesting to say the least as far as that is concerned. So, yes. A couple of more headlines on Triple P. Bubba Wallace just now on Sunday welcome their child into the world. Congratulations to Bubba Wallace on that. Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s dad tracked for the first time since he was indefinitely suspended for punching Kyle Busch in the face following the race at after North Wilkesboro. And nice to see him back on the schedule. I mentioned Daniel Hemrick announced will not be returning back to the 31 Kaulig car next season. A couple of other headlines I also need to document. Caden Honeycutt will be back will be going full time with Nice Motorsports in the Craftsman Truck Series next season. Carson Qual will replace Sam Mayer. He'll be the driver of the car in the NASCAR Xfinity Series in 2025. So we have Connor Zillage. Now you can add to the list Carson Quaffle. And both of these drivers have done a fantastic job in their limited stars. I mean, they've really made Dale Jr. look like a genius as far as that. And also was announced the 9 team will not be coming back. So that means the 9 will not be fielded by Junior Motorsports next season. So Dale Jr. will still have 4 entries. And I bet you they'll do something with the owner points on the 9 at a later date as far as that's concerned. But you know, you look at both drivers. You look at how cool this Junior Motorsports lineup is going to be for next year. Because I'm actually going to pull that up. So you look at, Carson Quaffle, he's done a good job in his part-time schedule. You still have Justin Allgaier. Is Sammy Smith coming back? We don't know. I know Brandon Jones is moving to Joe Gibbs Racing next season. You have Connor Zilic, who's done incredible for the Xfinity Series. He'll be full-time next season. So, a lot of teams are really excited, and I'm excited to see how they will do for next season. So, looking forward to that. So, it should be fun. I think that's about it as far as the news is concerned. So, yes. So, with that said, let's preview Talladega. We got the Truck Series race on Friday. I'm actually going to miss the start of the race because I will be at work during that time unless my job lets me early. So we have the CrossFit Truck Series race. You can catch the Love's RV Stop 225 at Talladega Friday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern on FS1. You can listen to the race on the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR. Saturday, we have the Xfinity Series race. You can catch the United Rents 250 at Talladega Saturday, October 5th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on the CW. Also, you can listen to the race on the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR. And then Sunday, you can catch the Yellowwood 500 at Talladega, 2 p.m. Eastern Time on NBC. Also, the race will be on the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR. Looking at the entry list, starting with the Truck Series, as we have, of course, we got William Sawalich, which, by the way, happy 18th birthday to William Sawalich. He'll be making his oval debut on the Super Speedway. We'll say. All right. So we have William Sawalich will be in the 1 truck. I think he'll be in the 1 truck for the rest of the season. Keith McGee's in the 0-2. Corey Roper in his final start in the 0-4. Norm Benning's in the 6 this week. Connor Zilic will be in the 7. I don't know if he'll be in the I don't know who'll be in the 7 for Phoenix, as far as that's concerned. Johnny Sauter is back in the 16th this week, running the Aflac. That's kind of weird seeing Johnny Sauter and Aflac on it, to be honest with you. That's kind of weird. We have Jason White in the 22. Forgot to mention this. Ty Dillon was ejected from his ride. Dawson Sutton made his debut with the team last week at Kansas and will be for the rest of the season in that 25. Don't know what Dawson Sutton's plans are next season. We got Brian Dozitt in the 28. I also should mention this from the Kansas results. 30th does not mention because he's got the devastating race. Danny Bones in the 44 this week. Caden Honeycutt in the 45. Let's see. Stephen Parsons in the 75. We have Ryan Reed making his Truck Series return and NASCAR return. Clay Greenfield, the 95 truck. And that's basically about it for the Truck Series. Looking on the entry list for the Xfinity Series, a couple of things I do need to mention. Dylan Lupton will be in the 15 for the rest of the Xfinity Series playoffs for AM Racing. Taylor Gray's in the 19 this week. We already know Eric Almirola is in the 20 for the entire playoffs. Dean Thompson in the 26 for Sam Hunt Racing. Let's see. A couple of other drivers I see on this list. Carson Quaffle, who I just mentioned, full-time next season, will be in the 88 this week. Nick Leitz in the 92. C.J. McLaughlin in the 07. David Starr in the 14. Cesar Baccarella in the 45. Carson Ware driving for Joey Gase's team. Don't know who's in the 74 this week because, as far as that's concerned. And then for the Cup Series, we have A.J. Allmendinger in the 13 this week. SVG's in the 16. Cody Ware driving the Arby's machine. That's going to be weird seeing it on Rick Ware Racing, but that's cool. JJ Ailey's in the 44 this week for NY Racing. Anthony Alfredo, the Podman, returns in the 62. BJ McLeod is in the 78. And that's basically about it. So, should be an interesting race here at Talladega. As far as that is concerned. Should be a fun Talladega race. All of our predictions will be in the Discord. You can click down in the description below. It should be a lot of fun if you ask me. So, yeah. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for Triple P here today. Don't forget to tune in to Let's Talk Rowdy tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a much more discussion on the Kansas weekend, plus more on my event at WWE and all that. It should be a lot of fun as far as that's concerned. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this week's episode of Triple P. Join us next week when we recap Talladega, preview the Charlotte Roval. You'll also find out who will be the 4 drivers eliminated from that weekend because it's an elimination race as far as that is concerned. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys for joining me for this episode of Triple P. If you guys enjoyed this episode, be sure to give it a like. If you haven't considered subscribing yet, I highly recommend you do so in order to keep up with some wonderful content coming out in the near future, as well as future episodes of your favorite podcast coming out throughout the rest of this weekend onward to the next. I'm Dean Voles, aka PCSRA Blue Hedgehog 26, signing out, saying good afternoon and good night from Triple P Studios here in Yukon, Oklahoma. Thanks as always for joining us, and we will talk to you guys again next week. This has been Triple P on the PCSRA Radio Network. We'll see you guys next week. Until then.